Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. Today, I am talking about handling questions about not being married in your 50s. How do I feel about that question? My question to you is, why are you asking the question? That is the first question that I have. This is by no means a complete list of, the reasons someone might ask you, why are you not married in your 50s? But these are just some of the types of people, or what I think are some of the reasons why people ask the question. Now, for the first type of person, that is the person who is happily married and they care about you. They want you to have a happy marriage so you can have what they have. And to those people, I would say, you know what? Thank you, because not everyone wishes everyone else well. Some people are, they just don't want you to do well, or at least they do not want you to do as well as they are. Then you also have the person who asks the question because they are actually honestly baffled, like they're confused, they don't understand why you are not married in your 50s, because to them it is the normal way of things happening. And the challenge with that is that everybody does not have the same life. We have different lives. Some people, they just, everything is how they want it to be, and they don't want to rock the boat, for lack of a better term. They're just, it's not something that they want. Then you also have people who are would very much like to be married, and they just have not met that person that is a right fit for them. And so they are not married at this point, at this time in their life, and they want to be married, but it just hasn't happened for them. Then you have someone else who may not be married because of past trauma, the experience and exposure that they have had to marriages that they have seen. It could be they could have seen their parents with very dysfunctional, very toxic marriages, and they just really emotionally scarred by that, and they're having a hard time getting past that. The thing is, you have no idea why someone is not married. So to ask that question is it's just not putting yourself in the best position, because depending on the response you might get, and it is really putting the person in an awkward spot. Another person who will ask this question is sometimes just someone who is nosy. They're looking for something to talk about. They want to share their opinion. They want to go over to the corner and talk to someone else about your situation. They don't have enough happening in their lives, so they're fixating on other people's lives. So they feel perfectly justified to come to you and ask you, why are you not married in your 50s? And unless somebody brings up the conversation, now maybe they're perfectly comfortable and happy to say, oh, yes, they're not. They're living the life they want, or they haven't met anybody, or whatever the reason is. If they want to discuss it, no problem. Sometimes you have the questioner who is married, and they are asking you because they only want to flex on you. That's it. They just want to show you they are married. This is what I have. Oh, you don't have that. They're asking as if they're genuinely concerned or genuinely interested, but they're not interested. It's purely a flex. So then they will ask you the question. They usually will make sure they ask it in front of a group of people. They will also ask it quite loudly sometimes, and then they will follow the question up once you answer with things like, oh, well, things work out the way they're supposed to, and hey, at least you don't, oh, my, whoever it is, my husband, he's always doing this and I have to deal with this. You're so lucky, girl. You're so lucky you don't have to deal with that. Really? That person is just trying to, they're showing off. That's it. They're showing off. And the really sad thing about that is, a lot of the times the people who are doing that, if you actually look at their marriage, and if you the truth of their marriage was really shown, a lot of the times they're not even happily married. When the person is asking you the question and that's their motive, it has nothing to do with you, and it's all about them. Another person who will ask, why are you not married in your 50s? Is sometimes the person who they sorry, it's not even funny, but these people are just in a league of their own. They like to go out and ask people uncomfortable questions so that they are put on the spot and so that they can engage. It's very toxic. If you don't answer or engage the way that they want, they will push, they will prod. If you're looking to deal with some of these people when they ask you this question, These are just some options. By no means is it, the answer to everyone who's asking you, or the type of person, or the reason, the motivation, but these are just some of the answers, things that might help you. For the person, as I said, who is asking, who genuinely cares about you and they're happily married and would like you to be happily married, sometimes it's just a nod and a smile and changing the subject. If it's someone who cares about you, usually they will recognize that you've changed the subject and move on. If it is the person who's just being nosy, if it is the person who just wants to flex on you, they're just showing off, or if it's the person who is very combative and they're just looking for, they're looking for conflict. You have tried to change the subject and they want to continue. They bring it up again or continue with the question. Go and sit with someone who they're not going to come and behave that way in front of that person. Sometimes people feel like, oh, I should be able to handle this myself. There's no shame at all in going and sitting somewhere else and sitting with other people where they would be uncomfortable to bring up the topic. The third option, and this is the where you have to decide what you want to do. You are either going to save yourself or become a hostage. This person is just, they do not want to let it go. They want to force the conversation. It's completely insensitive. And at that point, I am thinking it's either you or me. Now, since you are not concerned about my well-being, you're not concerned about my feelings, you are just on your trajectory of whatever is driving you or riding you, that you feel you need to continue this conversation. You now have the choice: remove yourself from the situation. So it's like, oh, please excuse me, or and I move on. And in some cases, I've removed people from me because, truthfully, also, do not play with me. Sometimes it's not even that I'm uncomfortable. I'm not uncomfortable, but I don't want to talk about it. Or maybe I just don't want to talk about it with you. What also can help is to have your prefabricated answers, I call them. Know what you're going to answer that question with. You do not have to think about it. You do not have to waste time being uncomfortable. You can just answer in whatever manner works for you and move on. And the good thing about that is it can actually move the process ahead a lot faster. This is why sometimes people that are single in their 50s do not want to go to family functions, or they start to minimize how many they attend. Do you want to know how it feels to be in your 50s and ask this question repeatedly? It's tiresome. And sometimes it's annoying. Sometimes it is you just sort of pass by it, but sometimes it is tiresome. It is annoying. And people just want to go to family functions or go hang out with friends. And all you want to do is to get your food, go sit down, and get some jokes. That's it. At the end of the day, a question is still a question. Try not to let it destroy your day, and just do what you need to do and move on. All right. Thanks for joining me today. If this was helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And see you next time.